Hello everyone, this is the 8th video in the Python beginner series, and in this video we will talk about Python's if and else statement. So basically these two statements are used in Python to execute a block of code or a set of statements depending upon our condition or our evaluation evaluates to true or false. So before diving into the topic, let us quickly create a new file named as if else statements. So let us quickly save it on desktops if else statements. So, starting with the if statements. So, if statements in Python are basically used to execute a block of code or a set of statements depending upon whether the condition is true or false. So, if the condition evaluates to true defined in the if statements, then the code inside the if statement will be executed, else it will be ignored. So, if I have to create a if statement in Python, I will do something like this. First, I will type if keyword, then after that, I will define some condition or expression, then I will put colon and press enter. Then after pressing the enter, what I have to do is simply define the set of statements that I want to be executed whenever the condition defined above or the expression defined above evaluates to true. So here we will define the body of the if statement. So let us quickly take an example. For example, in a real life scenario, sometimes we want to know whether a user is an adult or not. So in Python, we can have that application using if statements. For example, if I take a name or age of a user as input function, or we can say if I take age of a user using input function, then enter your age and let us convert our age into integer since the input function basically returns the user input in string format or in string data type. So we have to convert explicitly into integer data type. Now, how to check whether the user is an adult or not? So the condition for that is the age should be greater than or equal to 18. So we will do something like this. If age greater than equal to 18. So let us quickly give a space here so that it looks good. So age greater than equal to 18, then after colon, I will define whatever I have to say or whatever the code has to be executed when this condition will be satisfied. So I will say print you are an adult. Now, if I run my file, now here we can see that Python is prompting us to enter our age. So for example, if I enter our age less than 18, now here we can see that nothing has been printed and our code has been executed successfully. So what happens is here is that first Python will take age as input, then it will convert it into integer, and then it will come to the if statement and check for this expression or condition. Since we have entered a age that is less than 18, hence this expression or condition will evaluate to false, and the code inside the if statement will not be executed. But if I run the program again and enter, for example, 19, then here you can see that the print statement inside the if statement is being executed. That is, you are an adult. Now, similarly, there is also a else statement. Else statement is used with if statement, and the code inside the else statement will be executed whenever the condition defined in the if statement basically evaluates to false. That means the code inside the else statement will only be executed when the condition defined in the if statement will evaluate to false. For example, if I here say else print you are not an adult. So what does it mean here? That means whenever someone will enter a age that is less than 18, then this expression will evaluate to false, and then this piece of code will not be executed, but the piece of code inside else will be executed. So let us have a quick look at it. So now, if I enter 8, Here we can see that the piece of code inside the else statement will be executed. That is, you are not an adult. So this is how we can use if and else statement to execute a sample of to execute basically a piece of code depending upon some conditions. Now there is also a second basically application of if else statement, that is user authentication. Using if else statement we can also simulate a user authentication system. So let us have a quick look at it. So let us quickly remove this code. Now, so in a user authentication system, but first we will take name of the user. So let us have username. Username equals input, and then we can give a prompt as enter your name, and the second one is password. Now one thing to keep in mind that we cannot create a variable of password as pass, since pass is a keyword in Python that are reserved words, so we cannot use them in our variable name. So we will create a password variable as password, simply password. Now we will take the input of password. Here we can give prompt enter your password. Now, so now using if statement, we will check whether the username and password name are correct or not. So we can say if username equals let us write the name of the channel, and here we have to check both the conditions that whether username and the passwords are correct or not. So we will use and operator, and password equals my pass. And now we can simply print something like welcome user name, or else if the credentials entered are not correct, then what we can say that print uh, incorrect credentials. Now if we run our program now, so here it is prompting us for our name, so we can say simply name of the channel and password. Now here we can see that it is giving us some error, so let us quickly check that what we have done wrong. So here we have given username as South Codes, that is name of the channel. The password is this. It is giving us error. So let us quickly run this program again. And okay, I got what is the error. Here we have missed D in our basically username. So since our password is correct, that means we have entered the correct password, but since we haven't entered the correct username, so it will be considered as incorrect credentials, and the code inside the if statement, oh sorry, the code inside the else statement will be executed. So this time let us write the correct name and 3. Here we can see that it is printing the welcome message, that is welcome, then username. So this is how we can implement a simple authentication system using Python's if else statement. Now there is also another statement named as elif statement, that is basically used to check up for a condition whenever the condition defined in the if statement evaluates to false. For example, if I want to say if username and so basically what we can do now here, for example, we can take an example of cricket. So let us quickly remove this code. So in if we take an example of cricket, we can create a variable as runs or score. So let us give so let us have a user input here, enter the score. We can also manually define the value of runs variable, but here we are taking the input from user. So in cricket we have some conditions like this. If runs equals 100, then we will say print it's a century. And if we want to check for another condition, that means let us say we say elif run equals 50. So here we can see that print it's a half century, or else we can say it is not a century nor a half century. So here basically what will happen is that first Python will look for this condition. If it evaluates to false, then it will check for this condition. So the full form, so the basically elif is made of two words, else and if. That means if this condition evaluates to false, else then if check for this condition. So Python will check for this condition and it will print the value if this the condition evaluates to true. Else finally the code inside the else statement will be executed. So this is the video about Python's if else statement and elif statement. I hope you like the video. If you like, make sure to share, subscribe and like the video, and I will see you in the next video.